welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're live on iRacing for the Pagnian Imports Toyota GR86 Cup, and it is the opening round of the 5-round series. So to start us off, we are at Rudskogen Motorsenter. Round 2 will be at Virginia International Raceway. Round 3 is Alton Park Circuit. And round 4 is Tsukuba Circuit, and then finishing up at Lime Rock Park. The session tonight, we've got 10 minutes of practice, weather conditions are clear, 10 minutes of qualifying, and then the race is 40 minutes, and the car's capped at 47% fuel, meaning they're going to need to take fuel to finish out the race. And for the series, it is standing starts, with restarts being single file with lap cars to the back. And then we did just conclude the Pagnian Imports GTE Championship. We had Sebastian Vandel come out as the series champion with a huge 1,141 points, having a spectacular 200-point lead over the championship. Brand Meyer on the podium and Jason Schooler as well. Last week, to finish up the series, we were at Circuit of the Americas GP. Brendan Meyer took pole position and then went on to take the race victory, and the fastest lap bonus points went through to Sebastian Vandel. I'll bring up the track map. So we are in Norway for Rudskogen Motorsenter. The car is recent and this track as well, so it's new content to iRacing from December, so it's a spectacular combination to open it up. And the track length for Rudskogen is 3.15 kilometers, and we've got a bunch of the Toyota GR86s out on the track, so we're going to jump trackside now and see how they're faring in the open practice. We're getting first times coming through. And if you're joining us for the stream, jump in the chat, say hello. G'day Mick, thanks for jumping on. So about 20 drivers loading in at the moment. And for the smaller cars, we have aimed for short course racing. These things are absolute buzz boxes. These things rev out to a hectic amount on that tacho, so it's going to be rather interesting. Well, we've got a driver's name that's missing, so we're just going to push out and then refire that back up. See if we can try and get iRacing to give us some refresh data. And we've got a fair few debut drivers with us tonight as well. And what a terrible shot from that camera view in the pit lanes. We can't even check out this car. Let's see if we can get a spot. So we go. We got David Simmons debuting with us tonight, and he's not new with Apex Esports League. Those who watch our regular series has seen project cars too. That is Simo Simsel. So welcome aboard over to iRacing. Over to Sebastian Vandel, who was the GT Championship Series winner. Hey Ricky, thanks for jumping on the stream to support the guys. And Gal. It is a very short pit, so there's going to be some shared stalls, so it's going to cause a little bit of chaos as they're coming into the pits. It doesn't prevent drivers from actually using a stall, which is what we see in our Project Cars 2 series. If there is a car sharing your box, you will actually have to wait for them to finish the pit before you can actually use it. Where here, if you are actually doubled up, you do get ghosted and pull up in that same spot, but it's really hard to see pit crew ready to call you in, so you can delay and lose a fair bit of time in the pits trying to find that spot. We'll go through and look for our other debuts and get some closer shots. There's some very far camera angles around Rudskogen. So we've got Dan Ferrone, if I'm pronouncing names correctly as well. He's debuting with us, having recently joined the league, so all the best tonight as well. Well, sounds like some contact going on. Some fantastic looking liveries that have been worked on for the 86s as well. Once we jump over into the open qualifying, we'll get on board for a lap around Rudskogen. It's a fantastic track. You can really thrash these 86s around, get them into a real good slide. With the right setup, you can actually turn it into a little bit of a drift track. It's not going to be beneficial for them tonight. I bet we're going to be seeing a lot of post-race antics going on. There we go. It actually booted all the drivers over a little bit early. There's only about 3 seconds left on the clock. We did have some server delays getting open. We've had issues that came up from iRacing today from the Sydney server farm having an outage. There was limited spaces, so we're a little bit unsure whether we're potentially going to have server space tonight. So we're likely going to see a few lag spikes if that hasn't been rectified. They may be running on limited capacity. It's Sam Tucker. And it's a very interesting pit exit. Goes along very close throughout the inside, sorry, the outside of that right-hand corner. John Marinas jumping back in. Not seeing him on track for a while, so it's good to see him getting in behind the wheel of the 86s. Jason Schooler. Nathan Peters. John Gallen. Looks like we've got a couple more loading in. So drivers do have a little bit of time. There are some that are expecting to be a little bit late, so hopefully they can make it into the session before the cut-off. Sam Bartish. Here we are, drivers getting their outlaps done. Jeff Connell debuting with the league tonight as well. And he's showing up this afternoon, so all the best of luck. That car looks great in all black. Same with, I think it was Marinas' car, just all in the yellow. And then Vandel. Dominated in the Porsche in the GTE Championship. See how you can handle the Toyota GR86. And it's a little bit interesting car as well. There's no brake bias that can be set on the car. It is all fixed. Philip Buckland was getting a little bit of a slide. Looked like a front end lockup. Turning that car in towards that wall. And they've got Damien Cross. Mark Cochran. Steph Piccoli. And to Blake Gallen. Russell Gander has been having a great run in the GTEs as well in the Ferrari. To be one to look out for as well tonight. Brendan Meyer having a close run in the GTE Championship. And another debut driver, Lindsay Hobbs. So welcome aboard and all the best of luck. First pole time is a 1:33.194 and it goes to Jeff Connell. Looks like there's a spin just up ahead. There's a car off in the wall. Surely that is, it may have been Schooler or Simmons, both have brought the car back into the pits at the same time. Barsh has come through for the second quickest time. And for all our viewers, do jump in the chat, let us know who you're here to cheer on. And you can put up who you think maybe taking away the opening pole position and even predict the win for the opening race. Don't forget to hit follow as well. We're only 10 follows away from reaching our next milestone of 300 follows. It'll be exciting to reach. So we do appreciate the support. And then jump in and use those sound effects controls you should see down underneath the stream. So it'll play those sound effects over the stream. And we've got all our socials as well, so you can check out all the results, standings on our Facebook page. You don't need an account to do so. It is fully public, so any browser, plug in fb.com/Apex Esports League and you'll be able to check out results and standings and incident reports as well. So just under half to the qualifying session now. And after the race, do check out our YouTube channel. So all our streams are done live on Twitch, but then they are loaded up to YouTube after the race. So we can only keep the videos on Twitch for a couple of weeks and then they're long gone. So you can go back and check out all our previous championships and see how our regular drivers have fared throughout all the other series in the last few years. It's a little bit of movement up the top now. Damien Cross moves into position 2. Just going through the first corners. We'll try and find a driver that's not too far from starting a lap. Just missed Schooler. He's already gone through turn 1. Try and get my bearings. Hey Erk, thanks for jumping on. Hey Simo, yes you definitely can rejoin as long as you haven't withdrawn from the session. As soon as you fire up your computer again and jump back in, you should see that green join and you'll come back in and be in the pits. Even if the race has started, you can still do that. Down board with John Marinas coming down the turn 1. Cautious not to cut too much of turn 2's curb. You can see that pit exit coming out. A nice big long sweeping straight as we gain a lot of speed. Seeing a lot of engine braking just to try and pull that car up around the bottom of that cliff. A lot of understeer coming into that right hander. And the curb here can get very slippery. But you can run right off through into that green concrete areas. And double apex on a crest can really catch you off guard for this exit run. They're going to come down into right-hander hairpin. There's a very long hairpin. It goes up into a hill. So watching that exit line. Very slippery here as we just saw the car ahead. I think that was Peters. That curb can really put the car off, especially here. You'll be diving straight off into the grass, into the middle of that apex at this hairpin. Coming on to the final approach. 4 pit straight. Hopefully drivers have familiarised themselves with pit entry as well. So it will be crucial to the race. That's a 1:35.069 done by Marinas. So it's about, that's only 100th difference between his previous time that he'd set. So it's a 0.69 to a 0.79. That's qualified him into 8th. No, he's just bumped him down into 9th. Yeah, that is a bit different. Not seeing you out racing it. Sure, the best of luck in your time away. Hopefully we can see you on track and jump in for a bit of fun every so often. That's it. That's why Ricky's not in it. There's no forward to run. All drivers getting a time on the board now. And there we go. We've got Simmons back in the session. Seth Brown's loaded in as well. So that's qualifying now done on the clock. So this will be final laps. Jeff Connell's still holding pole, so he's in the pits. He's done a 1:33.131. So spectacular times. And it's 1:33s all the way through to position 5. So Vandel, Crossmeyer and Gallen. And then we're into the 34s of Bartish, Brown, Cochrane, Winrow, Marinas, Crawford and Schooler, Gander and Blake Gallen in the 35s. So it's only 6 seconds separating 20 drivers. David Simmons having to restart his computer, but he's got back in. He hasn't got a time on the board. I don't think this one's going to count. This may be. Yeah, we did just see him leave the pits. At least he's getting a lap of practice in. There's Samos. We're all parking up, so we should be able to check out these qualifying results. I'm not sure how long we're going to get. I think there's a little bit of delay in the server time, so it's probably going to boot us over a little bit early. So we'll take a look at those qualifying results now. For the opening round of the Pagnian Imports Toyota GR86 Cup at Rudskogen Motorsenter, we have Jeff Connell taking pole position with a 1:33.131, and our first 10 on the grid is then followed by Sebastian Vandel, Damon Cross, Brendan Meyer, John Gallen, Dan Bartish, Seth Brown, Mark Cochrane, Stuart Crawford, Daniel Winrow, and the second lot of 10 we have is John Marinas, Jason Schooler, Russell Gander, Blake Gallen, Sam Tucker, Philip Buckland, Dan Ferroni, Nathan Peters, Stephanie Picoli, Lindsay Hobbs, and David Simmons in 21. So there's a driver enjoying a little bit of remaining track time. Note they've brought it in. So that's all the drivers ready down. It's moving us over into the session now. So it's 2 minutes for the drivers to grid up. They're going to be more than happy to be seeing the grid starts returning. Rolling starts really did throw them off guard. Just waiting about 6 drivers to ready up. It's quite a mixed grid. Someone's just forgot to obviously change setting. Waiting on Vandel and Brown. Yeah, Vandel's ready. It's Brown just remaining now. there's 20 seconds ready to grid, and Varndale's blinked back out. Having some dramas. And now they've all readied, so we're going to see lights start to get ready to go green.
Green flag, green flag.
A lot of smoke as they spool up off the grid. Up on the curb, side by side. That's Varndale and Connell fighting it out for turn 1 and 2. So we got no sounds. Are they coming back? Yeah, we'll crank that up. So Varndale's taken the lead. Connell's still trying to find an opening to get back through. Looks like a couple of drivers having an off track. Brown now taking on Connell. Ran that car rather wide through that final corner. It sounds like there's a car idling in the pits. I'm not sure if what's going on. Brown trying to get a dominant position in P2. Cross starting to sneak up on the 2. He's almost looking for an opening in between. He's tucked in behind Connell. No, he's switched back over. Oh, Brown very wide at coming into that turn in. Gallen's dropped down. He's trying to move on up. Doesn't look like there's been any contact between cars. Looks like a few loss of controls and off tracks. Jason Schools has had an off. Oh, sorry, no, that's Cross. That's gone off. Doesn't look like there's been contact. Yeah, loss of control. So it's cold tyres playing a bit of havoc. Connell's been able to get the best of Brown over the course of that lap. He's even starting to pull away a little bit. That's backed up down here from P5 almost through to P10. There's only a couple of seconds separating the lot of them. Look at this train of cars. Got Marinus, Crawford, Cochran, Blake, Gallen and Schooler. Varndale hasn't been able to pull away from Connell. And with these cars, use of the fuel, they're only going to need a very small splash of fuel to make it back. So it's going to be some very quick pit stops. Connell's starting the probe for some openings. He stuck that nose in. He's going to go for an outside pass and then goes for a switchback. No, he's still going to commit to an outside line. Down onto a very sharp left-hander, runs wide. He's going to be in a difficult position here for the next corners. He's going to have to try and get in alongside sufficiently. Try and force Vandel into a slower line. Oh, looks like there's been issue for Simmons. Tucker's also been in and had a pit. Very quick stop, 3.7 seconds. There's some contact with Coley from the looks of it. I don't think it's involved with another car, so it may have just been standalone contact. Side by side, Schooler and Hobbs. Hobbs has got that inside line. He's going to be able to force almost a slower apex for Schooler, but he's going to be caught off guard for the left-hander. Oh, it looked like a little bit of netcode contact. That car of Hobbs reacted. No reaction for Schooler, and there was a fair gap. Oh, was a car that's just spun ahead. That's Cochran. Got on the anchors of that car, started rolling back out towards the track. Oh, there's Connells looking for a move. Really carries a lot of outside line pace. Every opening he's been looking for is an outside line. So that is his favourite opportunity to go for. Or he may even be just trying to put some pressure onto Vandel. Start getting him to defend those outside lines. And he's going for that huge pace on that outside. If he can capitalise here on a good run, I think he's a little bit too far back. Look at how much car movement it is as they hit those undulations on the track. Vandel's not getting it easy here. It's huge pressure being put on from behind. Connell sneaks right up on the tail. Can he do a switchback? He does. He's going to go for that inside line. Position him outside here. This is where he seems to carry some pace. Look at that travel in the suspension and these 86s. You see why we're seeing so much movement. That was even off the gyro cam as well. A pretty good run onto that pit straight. Oh, Mick doing a bit of a curse for Steph. Cheer her on and something happens for her. Some lap traffic. That is Steph. Looks like she's been in the pits a couple of times as well. John Gallen also pitting. Cochran's been in the pit. Simmons is back out on track after the tow. And he is only brand new to iRacing completely. Just recently getting the computer set up and all ready to go over the weekend, the debut tonight. So I'm definitely glad we haven't seen massive full 30 potential cars on track. Connell's just gotten in front, but as he's gotten in, a little tap. Could that mean Vandel's going to have to redress that position from the tap, or is Connell potentially drop off some speed for going for a move? Yeah, Mick, I think they probably should be able to make it from here. There's big potential for these cars to be able to capitalise on a early pit strategy. McConnell flying back up after that little incident between himself and Vandel. These 86s are making great show. Barsh is sitting very comfortably in position 4. O'Connell and Brown side by side. Oh, there's contact with a lap car. I think that's Simmons' car. It's a little bit of a tricky track to try and move aside. You really need to take those correct lines. So if you get caught off guard with a car flying up behind you, and then you're on that driving line, trying to quickly avert is going to cause incident as it is. Schooler and Hobbs still duking it out here. Oh, a switchback done by Hobbs. Just gets that track position. Contact made. That's just put Schooler in the wall. He's lost the bonnet there. That's going to be hefty. So it's going to be forcing him in for a pit. Get that over and done with. He's not too far off from completing a lap. He stays out on track, so the car must be seeming fine. This is now 28 minutes on the clock. Seeming to pick up some pace. It's got Peters and Gander ahead. Oh, I think there was a little bit of contact. Looked like there was a fair gap between the two drivers though. Oh, and he's just slid out. I think that's Bartish that's just had a tap. Brown's recovered pretty quickly. Looked like a fair gap between the two as they're racing pretty close. That's caused a turnaround right out in front. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of netco going on with the drivers, with the Sydney farms being down. Those few little lag spikes just in myself. Oh, how bunched up it is here now. Bartish's car, yeah, not looking good after a tap. His 86 is very fragile, but it just looks like it's mostly panel damage. Mix up between Connell and Brown, open big opportunity for Vandel now to power through. 6.4 second lead.
Got him!
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be some very close racing in the next couple laps there. Starting to bunch up. Once these cars get low on fuel, they get very flighty. So they're not going to be wanting to push the cars out too much, and that early pit strategy is going to come at a little bit of a cost. You're going to have to be able to handle that car in its light state. Oh, big blink out from Marinas. Momentarily vanishing in between Bartosz and Crawford. Yeah, there's another blink out. Crawford's going to have to be very cautious, trying to find an opening if he does go for it. So you could move on right into the path of where Marinas actually is without realising. Also having been in and pit. So 7 drivers that have been into the pits. At the points they've gone in, they should be right to be able to get the car to the finish line. But it's going to be very sketchy. Oh, Bartosz carries a lot of speed, runs incredibly wide. I think that's a lap car they're passing. Not sure. That's Blake Gallen's car. So he moved out away from the leaders. I wonder if there's a bit of aero wash going on for Bartosz now that he's got that front end damage. Hey Sami, thanks for jumping on the stream, no problem. Hopefully starting to get on the mend and be able to get behind the wheel again soon. Gallen is down a lap, but he's keeping pace with these guys, so he's tucked right in. And he had a 50.8 second pit stop as well, so it's quite curious. May have even been serving a penalty potentially. Considering most of the pit stops have been about 5 seconds, he could have had a 45-second stop and hold. Vandel's pulling away now. 7.5 second gap. He's coming up to Sam Tucker at the moment. Front end damage for Brown. Bartosz runs very wide again. I definitely think he's contending with some damage to the car. But given he's running up the front, he's probably going to try and fight with it for as long as he can. If it's not costing him too much time, just use that fast repair, coming in probably around that halfway mark. Has Meyer starting to close in a bit now. Cochrane currently P14. Gallen trying to chase him down. Very similar lap times. There is a few tenths difference in previous laps for Gallen over Cochrane, so he could close in pretty quickly. Blake Gallen's still tucked in behind these guys. Meyer quickly getting on the tail of Hobbs now. He's looking for an opportunity to get around. With Meyer. Up ahead is Lindsay Hobbs in P6. Some bunching up here. That's Ferroni. Oh, Ferroni's just ran off wide. Oh no, he's going off into the pits. Cars ahead, both been in the pits. John Gallen, P14, Cochrane, P13, and Buckland, P12. Rennis in P2, he's got Crawford coming up quickly in P3. Getting Hobbs. He's up in P6. Got a couple of seconds ahead to Bartosz in P5. He hasn't up pit yet, so he's out there with that front end damage. Blake Gallen still has not dropped back at all. He's just tucked right in. Blake are currently P17. Jeff Connell's retired. So it looks like a lap 12 loss of control. Let's see if we can figure out what went on for Jeff Connell. Sure, what went on there? Looked like it may have even been a hardware failure. That's a rather interesting situation there going on. So that car just suddenly dived off. He was mid-corner and all. Then lost all steering. Well, there's some blinking going on for Seth Brown, some weird movement, unless there's been a full disconnect for him. He's just dropped down to P7. Falling down more. No, he's back in. Blake Allen moving aside for Meyer, Hobbs, Bartish. There may have been an off track then amongst that. Gallen moving aside, putting himself on a bad line as I was mentioning before. It's very easy to get caught off on this track. Once you're off that racing line, it is very slippery. It's going to be hard to try and catch up to Vandel now unless something goes wrong for him. He's got 14.5 seconds over position 2. That's John Marinas. Hobbs not letting up on Meyer after he's gotten through. Oh, that is so close. That's some lag difference there. We are right in the car. Lag spikes going on. Vandel gets very slippery in that tail end. He's just had an off track. He's waiting for a clear section of track to get back on. It's currently P19. Still close between Hobbs and Meyer. There's been a change in position as well, so they've swapped back around. For an outside line move, it's going to be interesting. He's going to have to try and go for a switchback. Pressure was on for Hobbs. He's on the racing line. He's going to have to try and move off out of there. It's a blind corner. Quick flick spin. Oh, is he stalled? Has he suffered some damage? No. Pressure put on for Meyer, pays off. Some more lap traffic up ahead. I think that may be Winrow's car. Running a lot of understeer as that car bounces around. Winrow has Tucker just ahead of him. He's trying to lose any pace and let the traffic through, so he's got to find that perfect opportunity to sneak through. Crawford also needing to get in. Nicely manoeuvred by the 3. Says it's about 10 minutes left to go now. So that's 19 laps. Barter's been in, grab that fuel, use that fast repair. A 2.5 second stop. So just a quick splash of fuel, use that fast repair and back underway. He's the first of the drivers up towards the top end to come in and pit. And he's re-entered into position 10. So all drivers ahead will need to come in. Simmons moves aside. Let's Gallen and Cochrane through. Hey, Ricky, bring out a safety car there. That would definitely make things interesting. Could potentially not be off the cards once these cars start getting light. And as they are starting to go door to door, there could be potential for an incident. And track temps moved up to 27 degrees, so it's clear conditions heating up the track. So going to be enjoying a nice bit of grip out of the cars at the moment. Gap still holding for Marinis and Crawford. Crawford's previous lap, about 3 tenths quicker. Current fastest lap of the race is a 1:33.462. That's Sebastian Vandel. Looks like Vandel's free focus on trying to make a good start to potentially take back-to-back championships. Few gaps closing in with 5.5 minutes to go. There's a lot that need the pit, especially potentially seeing some of our earlier pit stops. It's going to be interesting to see if they do have sufficient fuel to be able to get through. So 5 minutes. Retired in position 21, Jeff Connell. P20, David Simmons. Dan Veroni, P19. Steph Piccoli, P18. Blake Allen, P17. And Daniel Winrow, P16. A little bit ahead. Sam Tucker in 15th. Phil Buckland in 14th. Mark Cochran, P13. John Gallen in 12th. He's got a few second lead over Cochran at this stage. He's a couple of seconds ahead. It's Jason Schooler in position 11. He has not yet pit. He's also got some front end damage. Bartosz, P10. He's the first of the front runners to come into the pits, but the quickest stop out of all drivers, 2.5 seconds. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that's going to hold out or if he's going to have to come in for another splash. Lindsay Hobbs debuting tonight in P9. He does need to pit. He's only got a second difference between himself and Bartosz. So he's going to lose that spot once he comes in and grabs that fuel. Nathan Peters, P8. Russell Gander, P7. Seth Brown, P6. Alright, that's Damien Cross, P5. Brendan Meyer, P4. The current first three in P3 is John Marinas. Having been passed over those last couple of laps, Stuart Crawford has now moved up into position 2. Coming up to some lap traffic, they get through nice and quick. Simmons moves out of the way for them. Doesn't like Crawford's being able to shake off Marinas. He's going to be sitting tight on the tail. Our race leader, Sebastian Vandel. A 14.8 second lead currently. He took the lead on lap 1. So now 24 laps into the race. He's led for 24 laps. We're seeing 1 minute 33s being set. And current track position for Vandel, that'll mean that there'll be another time around. That will be white flag. Crawford and Marinas still holding tight. Lap traffic up ahead as well. It's moved out wide. Try and let him through. 77. What an opportunity for a pass there. School's going to be carrying some good pace. Actually, it's not 77, it's a 17. You just can't see properly on my screen. So it was Philip Buckland moving out of the way while these guys battle it out. Looks like a lot of off tracks and loss of controls for a lot of drivers. Once the drivers accumulate 17 points for incidents, they will have to come for a drive-through penalty in his final laps. White flag out. No pit for Vandel. So he's been able to conserve fuel while still flying out on track. That's made it very interesting, not requiring a stop. There's the checkered flag for the opening round of the Toyota GR86 Cup. Oh, look how close it is for P2 and P3. I think that may have been the time penalty. There's been movement. It looked like Crawford took position 2. Of course, they were in line as they crossed the control line. Pretty interesting. So that's first 7 drivers. Actually, we've got nearly half the field that didn't actually pit in. So Meyer was 4th, Cross 5th. Brown in 6th. Ganna takes 7th. Bartosz coming onto the final line now. Crosses in 8th. Oh, it is still tight here. This is Peter Schooler and Hobbs. And Gallen as well. A little bit of movement as well as they cross the control line. So there could have been some incident points moving positions around. So very interesting. So 8th goes to Peters, Bartosz 9th, Hobbs in 10th, Schooler 11th, Gallen 12th, Cochrane crosses 13th. And the other drivers lap down, so there's probably going to be some shenanigans going on. That's Sam Tucker going for a nice drift, and this is a fantastic track to actually drift these cars around, so they're going to be having a lot of fun and a little bit of push and shove between them as well. Fantastic from the guys. So we'll take a look at those results now. Wait for it to load up and then we'll get it. So we are 26 laps for Rudskogen Motorsenter for the opening round of the Pagnian Imports Toyota GR86 Cup. We've got a car parking up right where the camera is, ready to do a burnout while we cover the results. But Sebastian Vandel is our race winner for round 1. On P2 is John Marinas and Stuart Crawford in P3. So those results are okay. Just my live feed that was coming through isn't correct. So these results are fine. Then we've got the rest of the standings. Brendan Meyer at P4, and then Damon Cross, Seth Brown, Russell Ganna, Dan Bartosz, Nathan Peters, and Jason Schooler as our first 10. And casting our eyes down through to position 21. And we'll see if our drivers are ready over into chat and see if we've got Seb, John, and Stuart in the chat. Got Seb anyway. And Marinas, there we go. Congratulations, guys. Good start for the series too, Seb.
Yeah, it was a good start. I was able to enjoy the
was good, taking that lead straight off the mark, and I think you're a little bit quiet there too, Seb. Not sure if your mic's there.
Is that better?
Yeah, I might be able to turn you up. There you go, should be able to hear you now. Yep, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, what I was saying, I was having a good battle there with Jeff at the start of the race. It's just a bit unfortunate what happened. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but yeah, I was enjoying the battle at the start.
Yeah, it was good door-to-door action, and then you ended up leading for the full 26 laps in the end as well.
Yeah, I saw Jeff put a quick lap time in qualifying. I'm like, if I've got any hope, I'm gonna have to send it on that one and try to get ahead of him, and then hopefully stay ahead of him, which I was struggling to do. And then he made a bit of a mistake trying to go up the inside, and then that gave me a bit of a gap.
Yeah, and then be able to power through, and then they were fighting on for a little while behind, and then once they a little bit concentrated on each other, you were able just to push that gap out. And I'm quite surprised managed to drag the car out and not have to take on fuel as well.
Yeah, I think I just maxed the fuel out in the car, but that's not normally what I do. And then halfway through the race, I looked at my fuel and I realised I could make the end. So I'm like, I'll just go to the end there. I wasn't 100% sure if there was compulsory pit stop or not. I think there was a couple guys in there talking about it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make it for an interesting series with some of the tracks if we can see some drivers try and capitalise and push that car out and survive the race as well. So it'll be nice and interesting.
Yeah, definitely. These cars are quite light on fuel.
Yeah, definitely. And very flighty at that time as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was struggling a bit there in the end on the lower fuel. I was getting a couple slow downs, and the rear end was coming out a little bit into the sort of medium speed corners. It was quite difficult to drive.
Yeah, well done for powering through. And congrats, John.
Thank you.
There we go, that's much louder. We've got you more louder than Seb.
Oh, sorry.
That's alright, no, that's good. So, yeah, congratulations, P2.
Yeah, it's good. Good welcome back to the league. I took a couple of series off, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, and come back in, take podium straight up as well, so congrats.
Yeah, I had a bit of fun working my way from 11th or 12th, or whatever it was, but yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, good to sneak through, and then did you end up having to take fuel as well, or?
No, I did not.
Yes, it definitely helped.
Yeah. It's a shame Stuart isn't here, but we were pretty close. Oh, he is here.
He snuck in, yeah. Came in through back door.
It was a good battle throughout the whole race. I think he was keeping me honest wherever I could, and luckily I was able to sneak by on the last lap.
Yeah, there's a few little noses being poked in and sitting right on the tail. That gap was struggling to sort of close in for a while, and it was a great battle between us.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure if someone knocked him away. I got away from him for about I think maybe 3/4 through. I was about 2 seconds away, but he came straight back pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, congratulations, Stu. Came through nicely.
Yeah, well, not bad race there. Yeah, John, hey, it was a pretty good race. I was on the radio. It's like, don't look behind. We need to catch the guys in front. So head down, bum up, let's go. But quite content just to sit there for a little bit and have a crack towards the end.
Yeah, that was good to see, and nice not to have to race in a storm again, I suppose.
Yeah, no cyclone this week, so hey, happy days.
Yeah, at least it doesn't stop you from driving, eh?
No, only stop if you get wet feet, eh?
Yeah, that's it. That's when you're in trouble.
Yeah, good race. Yeah, John mentioned I dropped back a couple of seconds. I got to slow down up through the S's.
Ah, there you go.
Had to get on the brakes and give him a bit of room, but yeah, managed to get back on his tail and keep him honest.
Yeah, was it pretty tight for the off tracks as well, getting around there? So I noticed a lot of drivers struggling.
Not really, but I was pretty close behind him, and I just missed where I was turning in, and yeah, cop one. So is what it is.
Yeah, that's all right. At least it didn't put you too far behind. So you just cross the line, less than a second away. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, he snuck up there at turn 1 on the last lap, and yeah, I thought we could play a bit of cat and mouse together, but that lap car towards the end there on that last corner sort of bound us all up, and that was it.
Yeah, done well. So it'll be good to see us be able to thrash these things around again next week. It's looking like it's going to be a good door-to-door series with the 86s in the short courses, especially if there's potential for different pit strategies as well. It's going to really make some different situations.
I had like another 3 or 4 laps worth of fuel, so I don't know what was going on.
So it could definitely be that setup's going to play a big important role. You might be able to get that aero down, nice pat, and drag that fuel out.
Yeah, I was running, well, to be honest, I was running a mid aero pack tonight, and played with the front suspension and the rear shocks and whatnot, so I knew it was going to be a dog in qualifying, but I knew I had a good race car, and yeah, it seemed to work right.
Yeah, definitely to climb up as far as you came through, so well done.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, congratulations on the podium, everyone, and then good luck with Virginia next week.
No worries. Cheers, bud.
No worries.
Thanks, everyone.
There we have our podium drivers with Sebastian Vandel taking the win in the opening round, John Marinis in position 2 and Stuart Crawford in position 3. And then we will be seeing ourselves heading over to USA next week for round 2. So that's at Virginia International Raceway in the North Course. So it's going to be a fantastic track. That's another recent addition to the free content for the series. So it's a good one to be able to see the 86s get thrashed around as well. So do hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live. So we'll be back again 7:35 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Monday. We've also got the opening round Project Cars 2 this Thursday night at 7:45 p.m. and that is running in the Janetta G40s GT5. So more small cars with a big amount of torque to them, getting around short courses, so more exciting door-to-door action to be seen. So do check that out as well. It's great to have you on with us tonight and hope to see you trackside next time.